Hey everyone, it is me again, your buddy who has seen more investment potholes than a rural road. Today we are not talking about stocks or crypto, but something equally painful, equally maddening, and equally capable of making you feel like your hard-earned cash just evaporated into thin air. We are talking about digital assets, specifically your digital game library, and how Amazon, one of the biggest companies in the world, is about to delete a whole lot of it. And believe me, this hits close to home for anyone who has ever thought they owned something online. So here's the deal, and it is a brutal one. On the 10th of June 2026, Amazon is pulling the plug on a huge chunk of its Luna Cloud gaming platform. For countless players, this means the games they thought they bought will just disappear. Poof, gone. And the really messed up part, there is no refund, no compensation, nothing. It is a complete digital eviction, and it is happening right in front of our eyes. I remember when I first heard about this, my stomach dropped. It instantly reminded me of all those times I got lured into some seemingly sweet investment deal, only to realize later it was just a temporary rental ticket to financial ruin. This Amazon situation, it is the same kind of trap, just in a different digital wrapper. You think you are buying something, but what you are really getting is a license that can be revoked at any time without warning and without your money back. Back in April 2026, Amazon already started its quiet assault. They just shut down the individual game purchase option on Luna. Overnight, the ability to directly buy games vanished. This means anyone who bought games before that date was essentially sitting on a ticking time bomb. And when that June deadline hits, all access will be permanently cut off. No game library to fall back on, no compensation, just a clean wipe. Some players shelled out $60, even $70 for these games. Money they worked hard for, just like I worked hard for every penny I lost in my early investment blunders. And Amazon's official stance, arrogant to say the least. On their customer support page in black and white, they basically say you are not entitled to even a single cent back. It is a stark contrast to what Google did when they shut down their Stadia cloud gaming platform. Google, not exactly known for being overly generous, at least offered full refunds to everyone who bought games on their platform. Amazon's executives, I imagine, looked at Google's exit, had their legal teams pore over every detail, and then decided, nope, not a dime, and it gets worse. Luna is also killing off its Bring Your Own Games feature. Players used to be able to link games bought on other platforms, like Ubisoft or EA, and play them using Amazon's cloud servers. That feature is being completely cut off on the 3rd of June. And what about all those hundreds, even thousands of hours players invested in their virtual farms and open worlds? All those game saves. Amazon's solution for that is equally insulting. After the 10th of June, players have a measly 90-day grace period to download their save data after that. By September, those files will be completely erased from Amazon's servers. No extensions, no exceptions. They even have the audacity to remind players on their support page to download their data quickly and test compatibility on other platforms. This whole thing is just absurd. Your money is gone. You cannot play your games anywhere else, and now even your hard-earned progress might not transfer over. It is a full-blown digital eviction notice telling you to pick up your digital assets from the curb, or they will be swept away like trash in 90 days. How can they get away with this legal robbery? It all boils down to that buy button, the one that has been deceiving billions of people worldwide for years. When Luna first launched, it was pretty appealing, especially for folks like me who did not want to mess with expensive gaming hardware. No need to spend a fortune on a gaming rig, no waiting hours for day one patches. Just click and play. Then, in October 2025, Amazon repackaged the service, focusing on party games and bringing in celebrities. For marketing for $9.99 a month for a premium subscription, you could play all sorts of big titles, even at 1080p and 60 frames per second. But beneath that shiny surface was a nasty commercial trap. A consumer in California named Lisa already exposed Amazon's shenanigans in court. In August 2025, Lisa filed a class action lawsuit against Amazon in a U.S. district court, accusing them of deceptive practices. Amazon prominently displayed buy buttons on its movie and game pages, but hid the truly malicious terms in the fine print at the very bottom of the confirmation screen, buried in those dense legal documents, the ones most people never bother to read. It stated that consumers were only getting a non-exclusive, non-transferable, non-sublicensable, limited access license, and Amazon had the right to revoke it at any time. Without warning, Lisa bought a movie on the platform for $20.79, and it just vanished from her library without a trace. Amazon's legal team's defense in court was baffling. They actually pulled out Webster's dictionary, arguing pedantically that the word buy does not mean permanent ownership. It merely signifies that the consumer paid money and gained the right to use Amazon's service. As soon as Amazon no longer wanted to provide the service, the act of buying automatically became void. This robber baron logic infuriated lawmakers. California Assembly Bill 2426, or AB 2426, officially became law on the 1st of January 2025. This law is like a leash for digital snake oil salesmen. It explicitly states that unless consumers gain unrestricted ownership or the merchant conspicuously acknowledges that it is just a revocable license, then misleading terms like buy are strictly prohibited in digital transactions. But Amazon was not scared. They were betting that 99% of users would not read their 11-page terms of service, betting that ordinary people could not afford lawyers to fight a corporate giant's legal department. To really understand why Amazon is being so ruthless, you have to look at their abysmal track record in the gaming industry. The entire gaming industry is a supersized cake worth $187 billion. Amazon wanted a slice of that cake as early as 2012. In 2014, they spent almost $1 billion buying Twitch, which was a smart move. Then in 2016, they ambitiously announced 3 AAA titles. But from then on, Amazon's gaming division became a financial black hole. One of those games was canceled outright in 2018. Another big title, Crucible, was in development for 6 years, burning through $80 million. After its launch in 2020, it was an epic critical failure. Amazon did not even let it die with dignity. They just delisted it and sent it back to development. This $80 million flagship game lasted only 41 days. A free trial for a meditation app probably lasts longer than that game did. Then came New World, an online game that, while attracting nearly 1 million concurrent players at launch in 2021, quickly spiraled into endless disaster. The game's economy was completely destroyed by players exploiting bugs. Amazon got so desperate they had to globally shut down gold trading. A patch update made a certain weapon ridiculously overpowered, so they had to globally ban that weapon too. Another patch even allowed players to duplicate gold out of thin air. In the first 2 days after launch, they could not even solve server queue issues. This is a top-tier cloud computing company that supports half of the global internet's cloud infrastructure, yet their game operations looked like a ramshackle amateur show. This whole mess finally came to a head in October 2025. Amazon laid off 14,000 employees company-wide, and the gaming division was hit the hardest. Multiple studios were shut down. The Lord of the Rings project started in 2019, canceled in 2021, then revived in 2023, went silent again after burning through billions of dollars and a decade of continuous failures. Amazon finally admitted defeat. Luna is the product of their retreat to the most conservative, lowest risk territory. They do not want individual purchases anymore. They do not want third-party stores. They just want a curated subscription library, completely under their control. They will charge you $9.99 a month, and what games are in it, and for how long is entirely up to them. Amazon claims this is to better serve players, but everyone knows it is about forcing a zero ownership, zero responsibility business model onto consumers, pushing all the risk onto the players. For most Luna users, Amazon's current solution is just empty words. Luna's biggest selling point was that players did not need expensive graphics cards or high-end PCs. As long as you had an internet connection and a screen, you could play. Now, Amazon is telling you that you cannot play in the cloud anymore, but you can download a client on another platform and play it there. It is like a bus company suddenly canceling your commute route and then politely suggesting you buy a car and drive to work. It is ridiculous. This is the most malicious walled garden of the digital age. They lure you in with incredibly convenient access, get you to invest money and hundreds of hours of your time. And once you are deeply entrenched in their ecosystem, they lock the gates and tell you that every brick and blade of grass belongs to Amazon. You cannot take anything with you. This is not even the first time Amazon has pulled this kind of stunt before this. They quietly removed the local download and backup function for ebooks. On the Kindle platform, this feature was originally the last line of defense for readers to protect their digital assets, but Amazon forcefully removed it under the guise of preventing piracy. In their eyes, users who wanted to save their purchased items to their local hard drives were all potential criminals. Although they partially restored access in 2026 due to immense public pressure, it was only for books where publishers had not mandated encryption. In reality, it was just a facade to appease consumers. By May, they even announced that 12 Kindle devices would completely lose the ability to buy and download new books. The devices were perfectly fine. They were just forcibly turned into bricks, 2 different ecosystems, playing the same dirty game of user exploitation, facing this blatant corporate overreach. A backlash is brewing. Ubisoft's arrogant decision to forcefully shut down the Crew Game servers in 2024 ignited the long-suppressed anger of players. The Stop Killing Games consumer rights movement exploded across Europe, collecting over 1.29 million valid signatures, forcing the European Parliament to hold a hearing on the 16th of April 2026. The scale of this struggle has far exceeded the fate of a few games. When those 1.29 million signatures were laid on the table, the dream woven by capitalists with their predatory terms began to fray. This is not just about whether you can play the games you bought, it is about who defines property rights for ordinary people in a digital world dominated by giants. This is a battle for digital assets being fought simultaneously in courtrooms and legislative chambers. Let us look at how this grassroots storm called Stop Killing Games is pushing these tech giants into a corner. Initially, It was just one YouTuber's angry cry because Ubisoft forcefully shut down a game called The Crew, but in just 2 years, it has ballooned into a consumer uprising that will go down in internet history as of 2026. Their Stop Destroying Video Game Citizens initiative in Europe not only easily surpassed the 1 million signature threshold required for the European Commission to respond, but it also garnered a staggering nearly 1.3 million signatures. This is not just complaining online. On the 16th of April, 2026, representatives of this movement walked directly into the European Parliament hearing. They confronted the MEPs with the digital corpses of games that had been permanently erased. Their core demand is actually quite humble. We do not expect you big companies to maintain servers forever, but when you sell us a game and then walk away, at least leave us an offline mode or grant private server access. You cannot just turn the things we bought with real money into a pile of electronic junk, taking up hard drive space. The hearing had an explosive effect. In May, the European Economic and Social Committee even held a special debate on this initiative. Various legal experts at the meeting slammed the current consumer environment as utterly unjust. Consumers are essentially lambs to the slaughter in the face of these big companies' digital hegemony. The good news is that the European Commission has been backed into a corner. They must issue an official response by the 16th of June, 2026. And according to leaked internal information, even though some bureaucrats are still dragging their feet pushing for self-regulation, the vast majority of EMEPs are now siding with the players. This battle has even spilled out of Europe. They have made significant progress in a lawsuit against Ubisoft in France over the Crew server shutdown. In the US and the EU, dedicated non-governmental organizations have also been formed, preparing for a long fight. Poland, Germany, Australia, and even the US are all gearing up for major action, and Amazon is currently at the center of the storm. That crucial California AB 2426 law is like the sword of Damocles hanging over their heads. This Digital Property Rights Transparency Act, which officially came into effect on the 1st of January 2025, is no joke. It fundamentally invalidates Amazon's rogue practice of packaging licenses as purchases. So, Amazon, you like playing word games, you think consumers are easy to fool. California law clearly tells you that if the access to your digital product, including games, movies, music, and ebooks, can be unilaterally revoked by you, then you must clearly and explicitly tell consumers that this is just a license. You either make consumers check a box during checkout, acknowledging that they understand this item might be gone at any time, or you put a very conspicuous disclaimer next to that button. If you neither grant permanent ownership nor have the audacity to use misleading terms like buy or purchase to deceive people, then sorry, for each violation the maximum fine is $2,500, and you also face massive class action lawsuits. Now, California consumers like Lisa finally have a powerful weapon class. Action lawsuits against Amazon and even Apple and GameStop are proliferating across the US. The plaintiff's logic is very clear. Your checkout page says buy and your product library looks like a personal collection. But at your core, you are selling a rental right that can be recalled at any time. This is no longer just a matter of predatory terms, it constitutes outright false advertising and commercial fraud. Let us look back at Amazon's attitude during this massive purge of the Luna game library. Faced with surging public opinion and mounting legal pressure, Amazon has not backed down at all. Instead, they are displaying an incredibly arrogant corporate confidence. The 10th of June 2026, the deadline for completely deleting third-party game access. They will not budge. The policy of not refunding a single cent is rock solid. That 90-day, deeply insulting save data download period is non-negotiable, even after laying off 14,000 people company-wide in their gaming business, losing massive amounts of money. Their PR department is still stubbornly claiming that all these decisions are to better serve players. Amazon's calculations are very precise. Their legal team must have studied their terms of service hundreds of times, confident that under the existing federal legal framework, their previous rogue operations can temporarily still be gotten away with. They believe that if they just deny everything, they can push all the sunk costs and risks onto consumers. But these suits, these elites, have clearly underestimated the speed of changing public sentiment. They are still looking at the world through old eyes, not realizing that the ice beneath their feet is cracking. 2 years ago, California's AB 2426 law did not exist. 2 years ago, no one could gather 1.3 million people in Europe to fight digital overreach. 2 years ago, who would have thought that ordinary player representatives could stand under the spotlight of the European Parliament and tear down the giant's pretense? This is just like another major antitrust lawsuit Amazon is currently facing. The California Attorney General sued Amazon in 2022, alleging price manipulation and forcing merchants into predatory contracts, leading to higher prices across the internet. In April 2026, Amazon's core defense to dismiss these charges was directly rejected by the court. What does this tell us? It tells us that the legal and regulatory tolerance for tech giants is plummeting. What were once invincible predatory terms and monopolistic practices are now prime targets for courts. If Amazon truly gets away scot-free with the Luna incident, if they truly can erase countless players hard earned digital assets without any consequences, then the entire foundation of the digital world will collapse. This is not just a story about a cloud gaming service shutting down. This is a fundamental question about who controls the future of the digital world. We were once misled by various big companies to abandon our tangible physical discs and cartridges to embrace that digital utopia that claimed to be always accessible and never lost. But in the end, they only gave us a worthless license and then shamelessly mocked us in court, telling us we never really owned anything in the first place. The alarm bells for digital assets have been rung. When you click that buy button in any digital store, please ask yourself, is this truly mine? Confiscating players' digital assets, forcefully wiping game libraries? This is just the first step in the tech giants and big game companies' harvesting plan.